Quick question. Would you guys like the video off of us?
You can leave it on.
Okay.
I like seeing people's faces. Makes it easier to connect.
Russell, this is Eddie Sell. I just read your message, and what we can do, if you don't mind, I can have you address the group once we get started with some introductions. Okay, Matt, I've got 7:34. For the sake of everybody's time, I'm sure that folks are going to continue to trickle in, hopefully, but it looks like we've got a pretty good participation roster that's with us tonight. So let's go ahead and get kicked off.
Sounds good.
So we have tonight the webinar regarding the Blaze and the California Guard program. I am CSFA President Eddie Sell, and I'm certainly grateful for everybody taking the time out of a busy schedule, I'm sure, to attend tonight. So I wanted to start with some quick introductions of some guests that we have tonight, and we'll start off with you, sir, Mr. Matt Epstein.
Sure. My name is Matt Epstein. I'm a second lieutenant with the California State Guard, and I'm the commander of the state's fire response team. I'm also a fire chief up in Northern California, and have been involved with the California State Firefighter Association for a little over a decade now, and I've been a deputy director, a board member of the board, and actually currently chair the legislation committee. And I'm happy to be here today with all of you guys. Eddie, did you have other people, or do you want me just to jump in?
Yeah, Chief Meston, can you please provide an introduction?
Certainly. My name is Jeff Messon, and I currently serve as the CSFA Executive Director. Thank you.
And I see we have German Sierra from our CSFA Training and Education Committee. German, would you like to please give an introduction?
Hello, German Sierra, the CSFA Training and Education Committee. I'm also a fire program director at Las Positas College.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you, German. We also have Mr. Russell Hayden. Russell is the founder of Firefighters ABCs, which promotes diversity and inclusion in the fire service. So certainly glad that Mr. Hayden made it tonight. And Russell, are you able to give a quick introduction to the group?
Glad to be here, and I just sent everyone a little chat message so they have all my information. If they want the free membership, they can just email me after the meeting and I'll set them up.
Great, thank you so much for that. And also, just a little bit more about myself, just so the group is aware. So, 3 years, I started off as a volunteer firefighter and fire explorer in Southern California. I worked for CalFire, obviously the largest fire department in California, for 6 years in several different counties. And so I do have a lot of background in wildland firefighting, which pertains to tonight. And for the last 21 years, I've served for the Long Beach Fire Department and served in all ranks. And now I am a battalion chief in downtown Long Beach. Certainly engaged throughout my fire service career. And one of the biggest things that I champion is mentorship and certainly leadership. And myself and Chief Jeff Meston have certainly taken that role serious as we lead CSFA towards our 100th anniversary. And for those of you that don't know, CSFA is the oldest fire service trade association in California. Started in 1922, and proud to represent all firefighters, paid, volunteer, explorer, dispatchers, and obviously the folks that would be potentially working in this unit. So we encourage you, if you're not a member now, please go to csfa.net and take a look and certainly see all the wonderful things that we're doing in terms of training, education, leadership, and mentorship. We have a CSFA YouTube channel that's called CSFA Fire and Rescue TV on YouTube, and it's got a lot of great videos on there as well. So we're certainly happy to be involved with this. And with that, we will get started with Matt.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So
guys.
Matt, what's that?
Go ahead.
So Matt, why don't you tell us about the program? Tell us why we're here tonight.
No, absolutely. I just want to thank everybody for taking time out on a Friday night. I know that there is nowhere you'd rather be at 7:30 on a Friday night than right here with me on screen. So I do want to thank you guys for taking the time to be here today. This program is really exciting and really important to me. I think that this program has so much to offer both the citizens of California, the fire service community, and then individuals who want to be in the fire service. So as some of you may or may not have noticed, the last couple of years, the fire season's been rough here in California. And the military department has noticed that as well. So the California State Guard, for those of you that don't know, I'm gonna give a little back history. The California State Guard is not the National Guard. A lot of times we get confused with the National Guard. The California State Guard exists to protect the citizens of California and provide public service and public safety. The warfighting mission, that's the National Guard. Our mission is to protect the citizens and respond to things like fires, earthquakes, floods, pandemics, and provide assistance. California State Guard is made up of volunteers. You know, in military service, a lot of times you hear about active duty, you hear about reserve duty. The California State Guard, everybody in the State Guard is a state volunteer. And so what that does is that allows us, everybody in the State Guard for the most part has day jobs. And this is really something that we do because we love it and because we want to serve the citizens of California. So the State Guard was tasked with standing up a unit that could provide resources and manpower and, for fire season, to provide fire crews. Now, the last couple fire seasons, the State Guard has had members on fire teams, on fire crews, but those members were people that had other jobs, other positions within the State Guard. This year, the State Guard has stood up a brand new unit called the Emergency Response Command. The State Guard is made up of 3 components: air, maritime, and army. And the Emergency Response Command is a joint command, and we have sailors, airmen, and soldiers all serving together. There are 2 sides to the Emergency Response Command. There's the security forces and infrastructure protection, kind of like our law enforcement side. And then there's my team, which is Team Blaze, and it's the fire response team. We work very closely with CalFire. CalFire trains us. CalFire supports us. And when we go out into the field, CalFire is with us. And we have an MCAT captain with us at all times. And the focus of Team Blaze is to be able to send hand crews out to some of the biggest incidents in California to provide that relief. As I mentioned in the introduction, my day job is I'm a fire chief up in Sonoma County. And I can tell you both as somebody who's on an incident management team and has worked with managing some of these fires, and then as somebody who's led task force and strike teams in these fires, hand crews have been diminishing over the last couple of years. The availability of the inmate crews is all but diminished them. We've had issues over the last couple of years of being able to have certain inmate crews in camp with each other. Is really the first time we've had that, which limits the amount of people we've been able to have. And then just the regular service hand crews have started to diminish as well. And this year, the last count, don't hold me to this, but the last conversation I had last week is of the 158 crews that CalFire out throughout the state, they've got 50 that are ready right now. And we're about to go into one of the worst fire seasons that we've ever had. And being a Sonoma County guy over the last 6 years, you should be scared that I said that. So this team exists to allow the National Guard to do the National Guard's thing, to do their training and prepare for their warfighting mission, and to have a permanent unit of soldiers who are firefighters, which I don't think that's been done anywhere in this country. So I see there are some questions popping up, and I'll address them. But I know, Eddie, you had some other questions, so I think this is a good break to see what other questions you have.
Yeah, and perhaps some of these questions are going to be what our participants are wondering as well, and we will certainly get to a Q&A as well. Okay, so thank you for some of that background. So why don't you tell us about the type of hand crew? Obviously the state of California, we have type 1 and type 2 hand crews. You did mention that there's going to be a CalFire captain, and certainly there's going to be a training component. So why don't we get a little bit deeper into the type of hand crew, what folks would be anticipating that they're actually going to be doing on fires, and also just if there's any sort of you mentioned volunteer, but is there any associated pay or benefits with this?
All great questions. So we will be a type 2 hand crew, and we will not be an IA type IA hand crew. And that's just because of the way that an IA stands for initial attack, if we have any people new to the fire service. And the reason for that is we do have kind of a delayed turnaround time. It will take us about 24 hours to get us where we need to be. And so we will not be part of an initial attack, but we will be trained by CalFire and certified as a type 2 hand crew, which really means that the biggest difference between a type 2 and type 1 hand crew is the size you can break us down to and where you would separate us. Type 2 hand crews tend to stick together in larger groups. And obviously type 1 hand crews are usually the first ones they put out direct attack on the line. But that's not saying that a type 2 hand crew won't be on the line. The fact of the matter is that, especially with the limited amount of crews, I guarantee you that these type 2 hand crews will be on the line. When it comes to pay, so let's talk about the training, drilling, and then pay. So in June coming up, we're doing a week-long training with CalFire to get everybody in the unit qualified as to work on a type 2 hand crew every year. For those of you that have experienced wildland firefighting before, every year you need your refresher for firefighter 1, firefighter 2, if you guys are out on on engines. And just like you would need your refresher, every year we'll do the hand crew training to make sure that everybody's up on the latest and is ready for fire season. Being a military unit, every month we drill. And it's Saturday and Sunday at Camp Roberts, which is down by Madera. And the great thing about Camp Roberts is no matter where you are in the state, it is equally inconvenient to get there. So it's kind of right in the middle for everybody. The training in June will be paid. So you'll get paid all week long for that training. And then any assignment that you get sent out to, any fire you get sent to, you will get paid as well. You will get paid per your military rank. So most people will come, unless you've got fire experience, most people will come in as an E3 or a private first class, most likely. If you've got fire experience, training, or EMT, the highest they'll bring you in would be a specialist, an E4. And that's exactly what a specialist in the Army is supposed to be. Somebody who has a specific set of skills and a specialty. And so if you've got a little bit of background in fire and you come in as a specialist, that's the beginning of those NCO ranks, those non-commissioned officers. And we'll talk about a lot of the benefits to getting involved in the program, but one of them is the opportunity to gain a position of leadership where you will be leading people. We will be teaching you how, and we'll be providing you military leadership training. So once you come into the unit, you get your training. Every month we drill, and then you can get deployed for 30 days, which is a big departure then from how local government normally does it. For most of us in local government fire, it gets past 12 days and we start crying about it and we want to go home, maybe 15 days. But then, we're done. We start calling the chief and crying. That's what happens to me anyway. My guys start crying about being out if they're gone 15 days. The State Guard, it's 30 days. And you're getting paid the whole time, but it is 30 days and 30 days out on the fire line. So that's a big assignment. But the experience that you will get being out on the fire line for that type of time. And last year, we had people who stayed out 2-3 missions in a row. So we had people with 3-4 months of straight on the line fire time. That is invaluable. There is no training anywhere in the world that will give you that type of knowledge and experience. I think, there was one question about how do you get picked? What are the qualifications to be in the California State Guard? So we will give you all the fire training that you need. You do not need to already have been through a fire academy. If you have, that's great. You do not need to be a firefighter. You just have to be willing, happy, trainable, and honest. If you got those 3 things, you can be in the California State Guard. And I put a link into the chat earlier. One of them is a link to my contact card. It's all my contact information. And then the other one is the State Guard website. I suggest you go check it out. If you're interested in joining, there is on the top right of the page, something that says join, an interest card you could fill out. If you're going to do that, I suggest in the area where it asks about hobbies and interests, that you specifically put Team Blaze, and I'll cover this again, and then please send me an email and let me know that you're interested. We're standing up what is going to be the largest unit in the California State Guard. It's going to have the most people. We're going to be the busiest, and honestly, we're going to be elite. The California State Guard does not have a lot of units that put people directly into harm's way. And that's what we're doing. We are going to be frontline firefighting, and it's really exciting. Eddie, do you have another question?
I do. So, but as far you mentioned those few things, but how about actual legal requirements? 18 years of age, high school. What about those things?
Thank you for that. Yes, you need to be 18 or older. You need to have graduated high school. You need to be a legal resident here in the United States, and relatively crime-free. Depending on what you did and how long ago, there's some wiggle room, but for the most part, relatively crime-free. Definitely no felonies. And other than that, those are the only real requirements.
Okay, and so what is what's the length of service, Matt? Is this seasonal or what's the length of service?
That's a great question. I get that. I see a question right here about prior military service. So I'll get, I'm taking note, Eddie. I'll answer that, the length of service here in a minute, but I do want to address the prior military. About 55% of the California State Guard has members in it that used to, that was prior service. If you were prior service and you come into the State Guard, you will assess into the Guard at the rank you left your military branch at. So if you were an E5 before, an E6, you will come into the State Guard at that same rank. And we love our prior service. The military, and you know, we definitely fit the military structure, but it's always good to have somebody that's prior service, who's had some experience in uniform that helps the other members that are maybe newer to the service. And I do want to talk about boot camp as well. So we do not do a 13-week boot camp. We have 1 weekend that you'll spend virtually in a virtual classroom learning about the California State Guard, what we do, rank, uniform, policies and procedures. And then we have an in-person weekend that, again, it focuses on drill and ceremony, how to be a soldier. Because the CSG is very specialized, we don't have MOS schools, we don't have an extended boot camp because we are bringing you in and sending you to your specific unit to be trained. So it's a little bit different. When it comes to length of service, we don't own you for 4 years. It's not like the big Army. We ask for a commitment of 1.5 to 3 years, but let's say you joined the CSG and then you got a wonderful job in Phoenix and you needed out because you needed to move out of state, you would go through the chain of command and request to be released, and you would be. Here's a good question. Given your example of reentry rank, how do you become an officer with a college degree? Well, just like me, I'm a second lieutenant. I had to go through, you know, we have OCS for brand new officers, and then we have OBC, officer basic, depending on whether you're direct commission or not. It's just like the National Guard, and the curriculum is the same. So depending on if you were an officer in the in your prior service, you would definitely come into the CSG as an officer. If you've been through OCS or were a direct appointment, and then if you come in as enlisted and you want to become an officer, there is absolutely a track for that as well. What other missions would Blaze be called out for? Excellent question. Let me see. This is I'll show you. This is our unit patch. As you can see, we've got because the other side of us is the MP. So we've got the law enforcement pistols here. We've got, this represents earthquakes, fire, lightning. The reality is that Team Blaze is going to be called out for anything large enough to get a response. We'll be going to floods. We'll be going to earthquakes. We'll be going to multiple disasters. And there is absolutely in the future a possibility of us going out of state. Our maritime division already has a contract with the state of Texas to respond in case of an emergency in Texas, and involved in that type of response. Something like Katrina, we could end up responding to. Something like Hurricane Sandy, we could end up responding to. The reality is that this unit is going to grow exponentially, and the capabilities and abilities that we're able to do are going to grow along with it. What other question? Age limit on officer? Nope. That's the other thing about the CSG. We respect the life experience that people have had. So I just, you know, I'm 41, and I was brought into the CSG specifically to build and command this team. I've only been with the CSG about 6 months. So there is no age limit. You just have to be committed and interested in doing it.
Matt, why don't we talk about a pathway to future firefighter positions?
Sure.
Either with the state, i.e. CalFire, because of the connection,
Yep.
or local government fire departments.
Absolutely. And right before I answer that, though, one thing I do not want to forget to mention is tuition assistance. The CSG will pay 100% of your tuition for any junior college, state school, or UC. So if you're trying to get into the fire business and you want to go to paramedic school, we'll pay for it. If you're trying to, find a way to pay to go to the fire academy because it's not cheap anymore, we'll pay for it. You want to get your doctorate in fire science, we'll pay for it. Whatever it is that you want to do educational, we'll be able to pay for that. Eddie, I forgot your question already.
It was a pathway to future fire service.
In the past, currently, the National Guard has a team of full-time soldiers that are Team Rattlesnake. That year-round they do clearing and mitigation, and then they are also a hand crew response team. Team Rattlesnake works very closely with CalFire, and CalFire pulls directly out of Rattlesnake for its full-time positions. This year they hired 11 members of that team just a couple months ago. Rattlesnake pulls directly from us, from the ERC. So by coming aboard and working with us, getting your CalFire certifications, working next to CalFire during the fire season, your chances of getting picked up by CalFire become exponentially more likely. And then even the ability to go from working with us, a couple members of Team Blaze are actually full-time members of Rattlesnake also. And then they're trying to get jobs in the fire service. Not to mention the fact that we are getting all kinds of attention, as you can imagine, and people want to know what we're all about. The fire chief, when I have 2 open positions right now at my agency, and I've seen the applications that come through, and unfortunately, they all tend to look the same. Went to a junior college academy, have an EMT, worked on an ambulance. It's all very similar. It gets hard to really find those diamonds in the rough. Something like this with frontline fire experience, military bearing, military training, military leadership training, that's really going to set you apart and set you up for success. Not to mention that those larger municipalities that give preference points for military service, this will count for that as well. There was another question. You said you have an authorized strength of, the CSG has an authorized strength of 1,200, not the ERC. So, and we are expanding that number as well. So right now I have room on my billets for about 150 people, and Team Shield, which is the other side, I think they've got up to 100, and that's going to expand. But the entire California State Guard, I think, is only about 1,400 people. All right. How many people do I project to hire this year? As many as I will get. So if you are interested in being on this team, now is the time to get involved, because I am looking for as many people as I can possibly get right now. It's going to be a very long and hard fire season, and I want to be in a position to support not just the citizens of California, but let's be real, firefighters are tired. Retirement rates are through the roof. People are burnt out, and now they're talking about taking local government strike teams and putting them on or turning them into hand crews. I mean, I want to be able to send my team in to help our California's firefighters and keep them on a hose line, and let us take care of the line work, of the crew work. And we're going to be doing some falling. I mean, there's a lot of really good training and experience that you're going to get working on this hand crew. Matt,
what about medical benefits, health benefits. Obviously, this is arduous work. Or is this covered like if you were in the military with military medical plan of some sort?
No, unfortunately, we do not have a medical plan because we are technically volunteers. If you were to get hurt, we would cover you 100%. Don't worry, don't confuse those two things. If you were to get hurt or injured in the line of duty, we would absolutely cover as medical benefits for family. We're still volunteer. This is an all year round thing. We do train 11 months a year, and we are able for activation at any time. This year, it wasn't just fire missions that we did. We did COVID missions, food bank missions. So there's a lot of opportunity to stay busy, and the CSG is the kind of place where you can be as busy and take on as much work as you want to.
How do you recommend future candidates start preparing to be on a hand crew?
PT. It's good for you and good for me. Yeah, start running for sure. Get your cardio up and start working out and doing some light weights. If you've done crew work, I know Eddie, you have. It's not easy work. It is very labor intensive. So start getting your PT going. And on the website, there is an example of the arduous PT. Because we are a unit that's going to be going into harm's way, our PT requirements are a little bit higher. Would you be able to do a presentation at our VRC at our college? Who sent me that? Anything for you, sir? Yes. The answer to your question is yes. I'm happy to do that. I know you guys are down in Southern California, but I'm happy to come down and do whatever I can. I'm going up to Yuba City College next week. I'm going all over the state. So if you'd like to get with me offline, I put my contact information. One of those links is my card with all my contact information. Feel free. I'll come talk to anybody that will listen to me speak. We have other questions? So the other thing that I will say about the California State Guard and this opportunity is this is really something that you can parallel your career and stay with you all throughout your career. There is room to grow. Even if you are one of my employees at the fire department, one of my firefighters who's about to promote to captain, she joined the CSG to be on this team. And it's because you get a different kind of experience, different people to work with, people from all over the world, that live here in California now are in the CSG. And it's the greatest group of people who want to help and work with people. Look, much like Eddie, I started in the fire service as a volunteer. I've been in public safety for 24 years. I spent 8 of them pushing a black and white, and the rest I've been in the fire service. And I started out as a volunteer, and I've always run combination departments. And the reason for that is I love volunteers. And the reason I love volunteers is because they're not there for the money, because they're not really getting it. They're there because they love what they're doing and they want to do the right thing for the right reason, and they want to do it the right way. And that is the type of people you will work with in the California State Guard. And the amount of different training and experiences that you can get, both military and civilian. I mean, even I know working in a food bank may not sound like the most fun, but the opportunity to work in these food banks during this last pandemic with people that really needed the food and were bringing their families. I mean, the feeling you get from that is just very powerful. And I'm very proud and fortunate to be a member of the CSG. And I really recommend to anybody that's looking to augment their life and their career with something really powerful that they do this. The age requirements or restrictions. There are no age restrictions. Requirements is you got to be 18. And as long as you can keep passing physical and height and weight, you can be 105 if you'd like. Would I be able to talk tonight after the Zoom meeting? Yes. Yes, I can do that. I don't know. I think the best thing, let me type in my card to my email again to everybody, even though I have that card there. I think the best thing to do would be to send me an email and set up a time for us to speak, just because there's 20 people on here, and if everybody wants to talk to me tonight, we'll be up till midnight. But I definitely want to speak to anybody that's interested in joining the CSG.
Chief, I have a question.
Yep.
In the past, we've been trying to have some way to count military experience, DoD experience, into the California State Fire Service, especially now that we're IPSAC and Pro Board, just like the military. So my question is, it sounds like this is going to be good training, but are there going to be some recognized certifications? Like at the end of the training, will the people get the Cal Basic Fire Academy, which is like module C in the new IPSAC and Pro Board testing, right? Because it's 3 modules: the structural, then there is a hazardous materials module, and there's a wildland module. So if someone is there for 5 years, will there be a way to kind of coordinate that training? So at the end of it, all we have to do is send somebody to an ALA or an ARTP, which is a college fire academy,
Right.
have them tested, and then or firefighter 1, and maybe even their firefighter 2, they're certainly going to have the experience, but without those certifications, even CalFire has embraced IPSAC and Pro Board now, so everyone is using it.
So yes, is the answer to your question. What I am trying to do right now actually is make sure that every bit of training that we offer, since we are the California State Guard, I want it to be California Fire Marshal certified. So, and there's different paths that I'm working on with this. One is the CalFire path. If it's possible, I would like to see down the road our people being able to attend the CalFire academies, because they do their own Firefighter 1 Academy and they do their own officer academy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off. Those are kind of pipe dreams that are up here. The reality, the things I know I'm going to be able to do is I want to work with colleges like yourself to be able to use the drill time that we do at Camp Roberts, or really we can go anywhere in the state, to specifically have state fire marshal instructors teaching classes to our people and have us pay for it. This way, people are able to attend these drills and take these classes, and we're able to get them that education. And so as far as a fire academy, that's a much bigger lift. I'd like to see that happen. But because of the time constraints, I think it might be difficult. But these are all things that I'm working towards, because like you said, I want people to be able to take their time in the Guard and be able to say, now I can go out and get a job in the fire service. That's really important to me. And so how we do that, I'm not honestly just not 100% sure, being that the unit's brand new, but I'm definitely hard charging towards that, having that ability. And even with just the tuition experience, support as well. I mean, if we're able to send people to a regional academy, then that's great also. And if we're able to support people in getting some of the classes, the key is going to be, one of the things I'm still working through now is, will the state fire marshal's office see us as a quote unquote fire department? Because if we can, then we can open up task books and then we can sign those task books. If not, we're going to have to work with CalFire to have them do that for us. Either way, big picture down the road, I want people to be able to come into this and through the training and experience they get that path to that full-time job. Because the reality is 4 or 5 years down the road, you're ready to get hired full-time by an agency. You're also ready to promote. And now I've got a strong leader, 5 years could be, a staff sergeant. And You're a strong non-commissioned officer, you're a strong firefighter, and now you're out in the world working, representing us. That's the best of both worlds. Will all members have to go to Camp Roberts for their monthly training? Yes. For the most part, everybody's going to have to go to Camp Roberts because that's where all the fire equipment is. And I know it's a long way. You don't have to pay for lodging while you're there. Obviously, we'll put you in barracks. The foundation is trying to make it so you don't have to even pay for your meals. But even if you did, they're $6. It's not a lot. And once you get a year in the CSG, you're eligible for some uniform and other type of stipends that can help with some of that. And look, I totally get it. It's difficult. Like honestly, we're just about to start at Roberts in May. Up until this point, all of our drills have been down in Southern California at the JFTB at the Joint Training Base. And I've been driving from Northern California down to Southern California every month. And not to mention all my officer courses and things like that have been at Camp Slow in San Luis Obispo. So I've been driving all over the place. It's not the best case scenario, but honestly, after a couple months of working with these people and having this experience, I'm telling you, the first time that you're marching down Camp Slow or Camp Roberts in formation in this uniform, as the sun's going down with a group of your firefighting soldiers, the feeling of pride that you'll get, it'll make the drive worth it. I guarantee it. Any other questions? Eddie, did you have anything else for me?
No, I think we covered the structured questions that I had. So if anybody in the group right now wants to ask either of us questions, we could certainly do that.
And I just want to take this opportunity also to really thank the California State Firefighters Association for this partnership. From the very mention that the State Guard was going to be creating a fire team, the CSFA has been right there with us, supporting us. So it's really important. And it's honestly why the CSFA is such an important organization, because they do embrace change and they're good at fostering new relationships in the fire service and providing these opportunities. So it makes me even more proud to be a member of the CSFA. And I'm very thankful to Eddie and to Jeff Meston for allowing me the time in the audience. Is this something you can do while enrolled in school? Absolutely. That's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Nick. So even if you're employed, this is the military. So when we want you to show up, and those orders are good. You can't get in trouble at school and you can't get fired from work. They have to respect those orders. Now, if you're in an EMT class and you go off on a mission for 30 days, that's going to be a problem, right? Because you have to have a certain amount of in-class time. So it's not a free hall pass. But for the most part, going to school and being in the CSG absolutely go hand in hand. Do I have any former service members on the calls? Anybody wants to identify themselves? No, you do not need to be prior military service, Chris. Who raised their hand? Who's prior military? May I ask which branches you guys were in? German
National Guard.
The National Guard?
Extended U.S. Army for training, back to the Guard, out of the Guard into the Navy, out of the Navy back to the Guard, and then finally out.
Wow, sir. Thank you for your service. And I think you got all the t-shirts. German, what branch were you in?
I was in the Guard. I got activated a couple of times. I was down for the riots when a QRF, and I was a medic. That was my MOS. And I was also activated for the Northern earthquake. So everything you're saying, I mean, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
But as a Guard member.
Sure. So the reason why, what's become harder on the Guard, the National Guard the last couple of years is, with all these fires and everything being out of control, you've got National Guardsmen that have day jobs that have getting pulled out of their day jobs to do month after month and fire duty. Now they don't want to go to their annual training. They don't want to be prepared for their war mission. And then now we're slowing down the National Guard. And so that's really why this all came about. I saw an interesting question. If I currently work for a full-time fire department, I'm called to state, is there an expectation to respond? What if you're currently assigned to a fire incident and you were called up? So we're very realistic. If you're in the middle of the Mendocino National Forest on an engine and we call you up for a call for a fire and you can't go, we get it. So it's okay. And you can be a full-time firefighter and do this job at the same time. It's just about balance. And it's about having communication with your chain of command. So, you know, obviously if it's fire season and, you know, you're busy and you're out with your fire department on a master mutual aid assignment, you can't come out when we need you. And, you know, the flip side of that is the time that you do spend with us not only is going to make you a better firefighter and give you some good leadership stuff so that when you're applying for that engineer position or that captain's position, that, you know, you stick out from the crowd a little bit and you have a little bit of something that makes you special. But realistically, you're also helping us by bringing your full-time experience into the unit, because not very many of these guys are full-time firefighters. And so the ability to share that and to teach and to grow will make you a better firefighter. So I highly recommend to anybody that's active service full-time fire, this is a good thing to get involved in. It's different. You know, I mean, Eddie, I'm sure you can back this up. When you're looking at people to promote people and you have open positions, all too often, like I said, every application looks the same. And in this ever-changing world, to be well-rounded and have different experiences and be able to bring something different to the table, it's invaluable. And this is absolutely one of those different things.
Yeah, so I would say that you know, the fact that I work for a metro department and we get thousands of applicants, and if you certainly want to stand out, I would say that you know, you used to say here for the last 30 years that you needed to get to be a paramedic. I would say equally important these days is having a wildland background. You automatically become an asset to that local government agency that you're going to be a part of, because certainly climate change is here. Wildfires are with us. That's the new norm, right? They're not going anywhere. And again, that experience of training that you gain is certainly going to help you. So, and along with that, Matt, if you can address some of the ways, like with CSFA, we're kind of tackling that with our LEDS committee, leadership, equity, diversity, and service. So talk about how this might help out, even bring in folks from different backgrounds and different neighborhoods that might not be exposed to the fire service.
Yeah, no, and it's one of the things that I really like about the CSG. We have people from all kinds of backgrounds and different religions, different races, different sex, different sexual orientation. And they're all in the Guard for different reasons. And what's great about the Guard and the ERC is I've got a great bunch of people that never considered being firefighters, and they got into the State Guard for, you know, myriad of reasons. And now they're non-commissioned officers, and they're signing up to be firefighters because they give back. And so when you, as a firefighter, get the opportunity to work with people, I mean, look, firefighters are all very similar in some ways. And then you got this diverse team of people that didn't necessarily want to be a full-time firefighter, but they want to serve their community, and this is the best way they know how. It's just such a different feel, and it enriches you as getting out of that firehouse, getting out from the same 5 guys on your shift and meeting, you know, people that in their day jobs are, we've got people that do all kinds of things. We've got moms, we've got lawyers, we've got, we've got a couple police officers, which is really funny that we've got a couple police officers on our fire team because, first time I saw that, I told them, I said, we know you all really want to be firefighters, but, it's just such a wealth of diversity. And that's what the fire service needs right now. I mean, Eddie's 100% correct. If we're going to expand and grow and become better as a fire service, we have to embrace the different people from different communities that want to be part of this industry. And I also think it's really important, if you are considering being a full-time firefighter and considering being on this team, it's important, if you come from a diverse background, I think, to get into public safety and to get into this business, because it is so important that when that engine shows up, that someone on that engine looks like the person that called 911. I think it just entrusts a better feeling of I matter too. And it also gives a really good example to people that anybody can wear the uniform if they want to do the right thing for the right reason. And I think that just brings a sense of trust back to the uniform. And let's be real, it's going to be, I think, so epically awesome to have a bunch of soldiers coming into camp and being there to save the day, and not only be firefighters, but be badass firemen too. So soldiers, firemen, I just think it's I don't know, I feel like a kid at Halloween, like everything is coming together and it's going to be great. Who's got another question for me? Because I know we're getting
real quick. I would encourage you to Matt, to get a hold of Russell Hayden, and the founder of Firefighters ABCs, and perhaps you can even do another one of these webinars, and we can kind of cast a wider net to different community groups, some schools, some high schools, and certainly German and the CSFA Training and Education Committee. We can make sure that we get this information out to the community colleges throughout the state.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we are going to absolutely be participating in this fire season and fire seasons to come are incident management teams. We're not going to have our own incident management team because the politics of the military department taking over a local government incident, that's just not going to happen. But we are going to be embedding our people, getting our people training to be able to work with the CalFire teams and the local teams to be running incidents. And that is such a unique experience, and honestly a hard one to come by, that if you're ever been interested in running these big incidents, this is a great way to get into that. All right, does anybody have anything else for me? I just want to, start to wrap up by saying that I really do appreciate everybody's time being here today to learn about Team Blaze. I am very thankful that we are going to be able to be such a resource to the California Fire Service and to be able to help. And I also am grateful that we have the ability to take people who have little to no training and get them into a position where they can almost instantly be ready to respond and ready to fight fire. If you sign up if you fill out the forms and get the process going in the next week, you will be at our muster in May. You will be at the fire training in June. You will be on the fire line in July. It's just going to happen. So if this is something that you want to do, if you've wanted to get in uniform, if you're like me, when I was 18, I was working for the police department. I was a civilian. I was in parking enforcement, and I was going to go into the Navy. And the same day that I was going to go, that I had passed my ASVAB and I was all set to go, they offered me, I was only, I was just turning 19, the department offered me a reserve position and I had to choose, and I chose to go reserve, and then I eventually was full-time, and I always regretted not being in the military. And so at 41, this was an opportunity for me to check that box and finish something I always wanted to do. So if being in the military and serving your community and fighting fire is something that you've always wanted to do, then this is the way to do it. When you say pay according to rank, E3 active duty pay for our student vets who may be interested. What that is, it's about $500 a day is what it about comes out to. So on a 30-day deployment, that's some pretty good money.
You say $500 a day?
Yeah.
I think I was making, well, 30 years ago, $687 a month as an E1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's because we get the ESAD pay, or the emergency state active duty pay, and then we get extra money for being on the fire line. So it's very good money. Can you give the steps to sign up? Yeah, I put the website in, and I'll do it again. You can go to the State Guard website, and there's a thing that says, I actually think it says sign up now. It's on the top right, it's a tab. Fill out the interest card. In the interest card, when it asks for your hobbies or interests, put firefighting team Blaze so they know, and then send me an email, because I have a master sergeant that works for me and all he does is recruiting, and I will get your email directly to him and your packet. You will start the process on Monday and you will get moving. And then when you're starting the process and your recruiter's asking you for paperwork and for forms, get them back. Matt, email, please. Absolutely. Here we go. It is. Oops, where are we? I think I put it down here, but so I put in that one of those links is everything. It's my basically virtual business card, and it's got if you click it, you can add it to your contacts, especially if you're on your phone, and it's got all my stuff. But here is my email. Here is my phone number. I like text messages. It makes me feel popular. So that's my email. That's my cell phone. You want more information? You want to talk to me? You got questions? You hit me up. If you want to do this, I want you to do this. If you want to do this now, I want you to do it now, and we'll make it happen. Do we have other questions, concerns? Well, it is, I really want to respect 8:31, so I think that's our hour together. I really thank everybody for being here. Oh, I see the problem. Hold on, stand by. My bad, hold on. I've been sending it to one person, not the whole group. Thank you for the person that pointed that out to me. I am not flawless. I make mistakes. Okay, hold on. Here we go. That's my contact card and the link to the CSG. Incoming is my email address if you don't want to use the card, and then here is my phone number. And if you signed up today, I will also have whatever email you signed up to with. The CSFA is going to share that with me. And as soon as I get that information from them, I plan on blasting out an email also. But don't wait for that, because that's going to take a couple days. You should all have all of my contact information now. That should be everybody. It is. Feel free to text, call, email me. I like being stalked. It makes me feel good about myself. And I do want to say, I thank you all for being here. I thank you all for taking an interest, not only in this program, but the California Fire Service. I really want to thank Executive Director Jeff Meston, President Eddie Sell, for getting this together. You know, I know these Zoom events are, you know, a product of COVID, but I really want to thank Jeff and Eddie for the foresight of doing this on a regular basis on a bunch of different topics. Because like I said, I've been around the CSFA for 10 years now, and never before have I seen so many people brought together for different reasons in such a short amount of time. So I really thank Jeff and Eddie for their leadership. And this type of presentation, all the presentations they're doing is exactly what the CSFA should be doing. And I think it's amazing. So I'm very thankful for that. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be here and to talk to you guys today.
Thanks for your
Thank you,
time, Chief
Matt.
Epstein.
My
Go
pleasure.
ahead.
Mike, where do I see your hat? What agency do you work for?
Mammoth Lakes.
Oh, yes.
I was up on the Kincaid Fire for a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah. Well, we definitely could use your expertise on the team, and you'd be bringing back some stuff to Mammoth Lakes, but I'm glad to see people from all over the state here. So thanks.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. No, I'm getting lots of thank yous, and honestly, thank all of you. This team is very, success of this team is very important. And I hope some of you come on this journey with me.
So I just want to say really quick, Matt, on behalf of the staff, the executive leadership at CSFA, we're certainly glad to be a part of this. I would echo the sentiment that more is better in the California Fire Service these days. We certainly need the help. And for those of you that have not had a chance to go on CSFA's website lately, go to csfa.net and take a peek. There's a lot of videos on there, including the firefighter hiring process and lots of other cool videos on our CSFA YouTube channel as well. So thank you so much for the time tonight, and look forward to seeing you guys out there.
Thanks again, Eddie. I really appreciate it. And Jeff, if you're still there, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.